Hello guys, it's Tamara. I'm back with another video today. We're going to talk about the cycle of abuse. So for the past month and continuing up into the 1st of January of 2019, we're going to be focusing on families. Holiday time is a really stressful time for a lot of people. They don't want to deal with family. They don't want to deal with the stress and the complex family dynamic. So I've been trying to offer as much support, as I can using videos. If you can't come in and see me for a session, I'd love to give you free education, and I use YouTube to do that. So thank you so much for being subscribed. If you're not subscribed, I encourage you guys to hit that subscribe button over here on the left side. That way you can stay around for other videos that I post, and you'll get a notification if you hit that little bell that I have posted a new video. And so I post videos Mondays and Fridays, and I give you bonus videos on Wednesday. So because we've been talking a lot about families and holiday time and family dynamics and complex family relationships, we're going to talk about the cycle of abuse, because I think family members can be very, very abusive, and they can be more traumatizing than being in a relationship with somebody who's not even connected to you. So I want to talk about the cycle of abuse. In the next video, we're going to be talking about the various kinds of abuse that there is, and then we're going to talk about triangulation. So on Monday, we're going to talk about what triangulation is. I'm going to define it. Wednesday, we're going to be talking a little bit more about how to deal with triangulation. And then Friday, I'm going to answer your questions, whatever questions you may have in a video. And then after that, we're going to talk about the various kinds of abuse. But in this video, I just want to get us started talking about the cycle of abuse. So let's just go ahead and jump in. The benefits for you today is that you're going to be able to learn about the cycle of abuse. And I want to be able to define it and give you guys the lingo and make this video pretty short, because we're going to have some pretty long videos coming up. So abuse, right? So what is abuse? I think we can all define that loosely as any unhealthy behavior, whether that's sexually, psychologically, emotionally, physically, any kind of behavior. You can even throw financial abuse in there, right? Any kind of behavior that makes another human being feel manipulated and hurt and harmed and weak and vulnerable, right? Any behavior that causes another individual to feel all of those things and more can be considered abuse if we loosely define it. In the next video on abuse, I will try to define that, give you the actual criteria, because every state has a different definition of abuse. I'm not sure if you knew that, but in Pennsylvania, there's a different definition, in Ohio and Virginia and Massachusetts. So I'm going to bring up a couple typical criteria of abuse. So then that way you'll have the definitions. But abuse kind of happens in a cycle. And whether that's a loved one, a friend, a spouse, a coworker, a stranger, abuse happens in a cycle. There's always the calm before the storm. So let's go through the 3 cycles that abuse happens in. The first stage is known as the tension building stage. And that's the stage where everything seems calm, but you may recognize that there's passive aggressive comments, there's passive aggressive behaviors. You may notice that there's some toxic envy. I'll post that video right up here for you. I did a video on toxic jealousy. You may notice that this person is competitive with you. They want to be on top of you, lord, boss you around as if they are greater and more important than you. The tension building stage may also include what seems to be a friendship, but you can't understand why this person is being so nice to you. You might find yourself kind of perplexed at the behavior and shocked. You might find yourself kind of standing off and not really trusting this person. You may find yourself questioning why they are being so kind to you all of a sudden. And sadly and frighteningly, if there's any such word, you may find yourself falling for an individual because one moment they're mean to you and the next minute they're really sweet and loving. Well, I consider that the tension building stage, because tension is boiling under the surface, but it doesn't really appear that way, right? But you may see some moments of irritability. You may see some moments of envy. You may hear some jealous statements being made, right? But you can't really prove it. That's the tension building stage. Little by little, things are being built, right? So, okay, so that's the tension building stage. The next stage is the explosion stage, right? After all the tension builds, kaboom, right? Everything explodes. There's cursing and there's anger and there's a lot of negative things being stated. There's a lot of mean and cruel behavior being expressed. There's a lot of agitation being expressed. There's a lot of abuse happening, right? Whether that's sexual, physical, psychological, emotional. It's just like everything that you thought was happening. The fact that you thought the storm was over is the shocking part when everything explodes, right? Because you're like, where did this come from? Little did you know the tension stage was occurring, right? Tension was building, and now the individual has completely blown up. The last and final stage is the honeymoon stage, and that's the stage where the person says, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, I don't know what I did wrong, I'm so sorry, I don't know why I'm so abusive, but I am, and I don't know what I'm saying when I say it, and then when I say it, I'm regretful, and then I feel guilty, but then sometimes I feel pleasure because now I feel like I've overcome you, but then I feel guilt, right? You may get somebody that does that. You might also get somebody that gets on their knees and says, please don't leave me, I need you, I need you, I need you. A child who's engaging in this cycle of abuse may say something like, I'm sorry, Mom, I will never do this again, I promise, only to do it again later, right? Your husband may say, I'm sorry, honey, I can't believe that I hit you. I've never done that before. Can you please forgive me? And it'll never happen again, only to find out that 3 months later, he not only hits you, but he beats you terribly, right? That's the honeymoon stage. That stage where the person says, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I love you, I want nothing bad to happen to you, right? So the cycle of abuse is tricky. It can feel manipulative. It can feel polarized, right? It can feel very iffy. The person flips to nice, to mean, to kind, to inconsiderate, to empathic, to uncaring, right? You might also see during the honeymoon stage some narcissistic characteristics such as charm and glib, knowing what to say and how to say it. And you might also during the tension building stage see some narcissistic traits like that as well, right? They treat you to things, you know, they're charming, they're sweet, but with moments of irritability and some anger, but for the most part, things are great. And then that kaboom explosion stage sets in, and then you start seeing the sociopath, right? The one who doesn't care about you, the one who is not empathetic, the one who is not caring for your feelings, right? So the cycle of abuse is pretty huge. And actually, I'm going to post a picture over here for you, kind of give you a visual so that you can see what that looks like. Every cycle of abuse is different, right? And the stages don't happen like I explained them in this video. You might find the explosion stage happens first, then the tension building, then the honeymoon, or maybe the honeymoon lasted for years and now you're in the explosion stage, right? So I think it's important to keep in mind that these stages can occur months, years, or even minutes apart, right? It doesn't happen like the books tell us it happens. It's not this 1, 2, 3 ABC format. The cycle of abuse can happen in various directions and various lengths of time and durations. Thank you so much, guys, for being with me today. I encourage you to give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful to you. If you have any questions about this or you've experienced it, let me know down in the comment section. What have you seen and what do you notice about abusive people? What are your questions about this? Because I will answer them next Friday in a video. I do videos. Actually, I'm going to post a link up here for you. I do videos called Answering Your Questions, and I choose your questions out of the comments section and I use them as an educational tool. So if you have questions, post them in the comment section below and I definitely will pull them for next Friday's Answering Your Questions video. Thank you so much, guys, for being here with me today. I will see you on Monday with the topic of triangulation, Wednesday with more explanation on triangulation, and then we're going to just keep talking about this family stuff because it's pretty deep, pretty huge. I'll see you guys really soon. Bye-bye.